I'm Aaron here in the Bowtie Treasure Studio. Tonight we have a fun project. Well, maybe not fun, but at least another project that always challenging to have some variety of things come through the studio. I am going a little simple tonight. I have this 12-drawer French Provincial dresser. Oftentimes I want to challenge myself, but this one I'm going a little bit simple. I think I'm going to go with the ultimate classy, simple, but with a little bit of touch of blending. So I've already painted it with one coat of Driftwood, and I'm going to blend Fluff, so a little bit of white. I've already done a little sample on the far end, so I can make sure I like the look of it. And then we're just going to keep going. It's probably going to be a little tough to see, but what I actually am doing is I'm highlighting this middle panel, basically where the hardware's going. I am bringing a little bit of highlight. It's not super strong, but there's so much curve going on here. I don't really have to overdo it, you know? I can let the dresser do bulk of the work. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go back to the far side. Hi, Diane, good to see you. And what we'll do is we'll start on the side and we'll work our way up. So I only really have to do the middle and the far right section as far as blending. And then if time permits, I have the top sanded, and I would like to try, I have not used it before, Dixie Belle's Pickling White. I have used the No Paint Gel Stain before, but I have not used the Pickling White. Usually I'm either using chalk paint, glaze, whitewash. So let's try the Pickling White tonight. If time allows, and we should have time, but if you like to hang out for a while, you're in the right place. This is a longer dresser, so I've got to avoid a few things in the background. But if I start banging things around, you know it's too long. I really love this decorative side panel, isn't it great? And what I'm going to do is highlight that. So again, this is Driftwood, and I'm going to basically use Fluff, and I want to just fade it out so the eye will be drawn up to this. I really spent some time thinking this one through. I've done a lot of stenciling on the sides and texture. I don't do a lot of texture, but stenciling. I didn't want this to be moody. I've done plenty of moody, and I just really wanted this piece to speak for itself, if that makes sense. As I mentioned before, or I've mentioned a lot, I like the flat medium. The flat medium really has a nice size. And these actually I cleaned them earlier, so they're a little wet, which sometimes can be to your advantage, but if it's too wet, you might want to grab a fresh brush. I'm going to give them a try. I think they'll be okay tonight. But earlier I was doing a lot of misting on them just to keep them moving the paint around. Okay, so I've only done one coat of Driftwood, so while I'm painting, I'm going to be applying this second coat. And when I'm doing that, I'm going to be blending. So I'll walk you through as much of the process as possible. I don't know if you noticed this, but I did paint Driftwood on the edge. And I could go white with that. We'll see. I could always still paint it white to match the pickling, but sometimes I, just make this stuff up as I go. And that's kind of fun, just to wing it, knowing that you're your only judge. For some reason my paint, I probably could put a touch of water in my paint, but I'm just going to use my mister bottle, but it is a little thick. So if you see me using the mister bottle a lot more than normal, it's just because my paint's a little bit thicker than I like. Especially, I like to use the mister bottle when I am blending. So at this point right here, I will tell you that I am putting Fluff over Driftwood. What that means is I'm mixing Fluff into Driftwood rather than just painting Fluff and then mixing up to it. So I'm putting the paint down. I definitely need to keep this wet. I don't want any of it to dry on me. Tell you what, let me bring the camera around, because I don't want to get in the way of that. Okay. I haven't done blending in a while, but that red piece kind of sparked a little bit of fun with blending, so let me put that. I thought this piece could, it really is, when you can blend, it really is a lovely classic result. But I didn't want to go overboard. Okay, so I'm going to bring out my other flat medium, and here we go with Fluff. Extra misting. All right, so watch what I'm going to do. You see how I'm only putting the Fluff? I'm going to get a little bit more. I'm only putting the Fluff underneath the, I don't know what that's called. I don't know what the official name is. And now what I'm doing is I'm actually mixing in. So while I'm going over the driftwood I just did, it's called blending, you know. So I'm just blending in, mixing the two colors together. This will tone down the Fluff. I don't want it to be white. And I'm okay if I go a little out of the lines here because I'm going to clean it up in just a minute. Now this is where you could use a stain brush or some other brush to soften this edge, and I'm just using the same brush. Unfortunately, there's no real way to make this side match perfectly to the other side. So there's the Fluff. We'll call that the Fluff brush. Now I'm going to get the Driftwood brush back, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm going right back and just fine tuning. You're looking for all your brush strokes to disappear. That's the goal here. Back into Driftwood, I've got it down. And I'm gonna come up here to the top and gently clean up any of that areas I may have gone outside the lines. If you need to use a different brush to do that, that's fine too, whatever you can control. I really don't know any other way of cleaning this up than to just paint over it. All right, back to paint. And this is back to Driftwood, so I shouldn't have any more Fluff at this point down here. So what's going to happen is the eye is going to be drawn. Right now it's really wet and the light is shining off of it, so it's extra shiny. And now I thought about blending to another color, but I didn't really want to create another three color ombre piece. You would think I was stuck on it. I don't really repeat a lot. I might repeat down the road, but rarely do I do back-to-back kind of things. And maybe you don't either. I should put a highlight on the ball or the round part. So let's do that. Let me just get a little bit more paint on here. I did have to fix a decent amount of the drawers on here. The runner was a little wobbly, so I've done a lot of that repair. I have not done all the cleanup per se, and I sometimes don't do that till after my project's done. I'm not sure I always advise that, but okay, so I'm going to go to a 1-inch brush because I just want to touch a Fluff, because I want to just hit just right there. I like to highlight that for some reason, I don't know. And then same brush, just blend that into the wet paint. And then if you want, you can hit this. I have not done this to the other side because I didn't think about it till afterwards. And just feather that out. And that'll just make a little nice impactful spot on there. Oh, it just went over there. There we go. Okay, so I want to put a highlight here as well. Keep in mind the problem I have right now is that this is still wet. So if I mist right there, there's a good chance that the mist could get over there and leave spots. So I have to be careful on doing that. This is where I told you I switched to smaller brushes because it just is a tighter space. So when you can't mist on your piece, mist your brush. And I'm going to do the same treatment I did on the side. I'm going to do on this section here. Just trying to add some variety and custom work to this without going overboard. Because I could just paint it driftwood and walk away, but you know me, I never do that. Not that it's wrong to only paint it one color, but. Okay, so let me go back to my Fluff 1-inch brush. Give it a little bit of spritz and then right back into same idea as the side. And we're just going to fade that out. think I did a little bit more on the other side. Okay, I am going to peek at the other side just to make sure. Okay. I went to about the middle of the second drawer. So once you get it on there, then bust out the light hand and just feather that out. If you need another brush, I think I may have done that. I'm just going to feather it. Save me a minute. Not required, but it does save some time. And then I'm going to go back to our driftwood and just finish out the side. So that's all I'm doing on that side panel. Oh, we need to clean up. Okay. So we're going to keep going. I'm not doing any blending on the middle runs here. And by the way, I am painting the sides of the drawers. I'm a little not excited about that because they've made this dresser set so precise. And when I say precise, I mean like it's meant to like be seamless right here that you can't even tell where the drawers are. So all I'm going to do is take some fluff and I'm just going to go right in the middle here. That's all I want to do is highlight this middle panel. It'll almost be like you can't tell I did something, but I did something enough to make it the hardware. I want the hardware to shine and be the star of the show. And so by doing something just like that, it puts the emphasis where it should be. So now I'm just touching up anywhere that I got white, that fluff that I don't want. All right, so let's keep going. So you can see just on the camera how this is lighter than this area here. And that's what we're going for. So down here, pretty much just this part right here is only driftwood. All right, let's bring in the fluff. And it doesn't really matter how you put that fluff in there. But right now I'm mixing it into the driftwood so it's a new color. And then I'm straightening it out, light hand. If you want to use another brush to soften the edges, I think I did earlier. Let me get this is an oval medium, oval small. And it's a nice little small brush if you'd like to use this for softening edges. It does a pretty good job. We could probably spend a whole show on just talking about different brushes, but this is something that helps soften those brush strokes. So you can see it now how it's highlighted. I think it's working out really well. Sorry about that. This is just wet. It's not, but trust me, on camera, when I stage this, it'll be very subtle. If you're not following me on or subscribed on YouTube, I'd love for you to do that. I just posted my latest project on there just before I went live. And so if you ever miss any of my lives, they usually wind up on there in some form or fashion. Maybe not the whole project, but the bulk of the techniques usually go on there. So I hope that's a great resource for y'all. There is no measure of how much white I'm putting here. It's just kind of a gut feeling of how much did I use last time. If it doesn't work out, as I always say, paint over it, but usually it works out. There's going to be so much gorgeous hardware on here that this blend doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm just softening. This brush is just softening any of those strokes. One thing that kind of drives me nuts a little bit is how things dry. It kind of starts messing with my eye, so I always have to just trust the process. We like to say is trust the process. What I mean by that is this thing's starting to look funny up here, but it's at different stages of drying, so you just gotta let it go. All right, well, I think that's it. I'm gonna go clean some brushes, turn on a fan, and chill the rest of the night. You guys do the same. Till next time, I'm Aaron with Bowtie Treasures. Thanks so much for watching. Stay awesome, do something creative out there if you don't mind, and I think you'll enjoy it. We'll see you later.
That's the end of the show. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell before you go. Bye.